Hello and welcome to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. I'm so excited to have you here today because we're kicking off the first of many episodes in an exciting new series. Over the coming weeks, I'll be taking you on a journey through the key sections of 21 CFR, the regulatory cornerstone for the pharma and healthcare industries. In this inaugural episode, I'll start with a brief overview of 21 CFR, what it is, why it's important, and how it impacts everything from drug manufacturing to medical devices. Whether you are a pharmacy student, a healthcare professional, or just curious about the regulations behind the medicines and products we trust, this series is for you. So, what exactly is 21 CFR? It's a set of regulations issued by the US FDA that governs food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, and more. It's divided into several parts, each focusing on specific areas to ensure safety, efficacy, and quality. Let me give you a quick overview of the major sections. General provisions, Parts 1 to 99, these include the foundational rules, like enforcement policies and electronic records compliance, famously known as 21 CFR Part 11. Food regulations, Parts 100 to 199. This section ensures food safety and proper labeling. For example, Part 117 focuses on hazard analysis and preventive controls. Drug regulations, Parts 200 to 299. The heart of pharmaceutical compliance, with Part 211 outlining good manufacturing practices and Part 312 dealing with investigational new drugs. Medical devices, Parts 800 to 899. This section covers everything from device registration, Part 807, to quality systems, Part 820. Biologics, Parts 600 to 699. Vital for blood products, vaccines, and other biologics, ensuring rigorous standards for safety and efficacy. Tobacco products, Parts 1100 to 1199, newer editions, focusing on tobacco regulation and user fees. Why is 21 CFR so important? It's not just about regulatory compliance, it's about protecting lives. For instance, CGMP guidelines in Part 211 ensure that medicines are manufactured consistently and meet quality standards. Food safety rules prevent contamination and outbreaks. Device regulations ensure that products like pacemakers are reliable and safe. Understanding 21 CFR is crucial for anyone in the healthcare, pharma, or related industries. It ensures that products we consume or rely on are safe and effective. If you're a pharmacy student, healthcare worker, or industry professional, mastering this regulation is a game changer for your career. And that wraps up our brief overview of 21 CFR. I hope this gave you a solid foundation for understanding how these regulations shape the pharmaceutical and healthcare industries. But this is just the beginning. In the next episode, I'll dive into the general provisions of 21 CFR, including key topics like enforcement policies and the famous Part 11 on electronic records and signatures. It's a must-know for anyone navigating the world of pharma compliance. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, stay informed and stay inspired. See you in the next episode. Hello and welcome back to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. This is episode 2 of our 21 CFR Explained series, where we are breaking down the key sections of this important regulation. If you haven't seen episode 1, I highly recommend starting there for an overview of what 21 CFR is all about. Today, we are diving into the general provisions, the foundational section that governs how the FDA enforces regulations and ensures transparency. These provisions apply to all products regulated by the FDA, from food and drugs to biologics and medical devices. The general provisions span Parts 1 through 99 of 21 CFR and establish the rules of engagement between the FDA and regulated industries. Think of them as the groundwork that ensures the FDA operates consistently and fairly across all sectors. Here's why these provisions matter. They outline how the FDA takes action, from recalls to legal proceedings. They establish expectations for record keeping and reporting, and they provide guidelines for companies to self-correct issues, fostering a spirit of voluntary compliance. Let's break down some of the most important parts in this section. Part 1. General Enforcement Regulations. This part outlines the FDA's authority to enforce rules, such as issuing recalls, seizing products, or holding hearings. It's the FDA's playbook for responding to violations and protecting public health. Part 7. Enforcement Policy. Part 7 emphasizes voluntary compliance. It encourages companies to take proactive measures, such as issuing recalls, to address issues before the FDA takes formal enforcement action. Part 11. Electronic Records and Signatures. Perhaps the most famous section in the general provisions, Part 11 focuses on ensuring that electronic records and signatures are secure, reliable, and equivalent to paper records. This is especially critical for pharmaceutical companies using electronic systems for manufacturing and documentation. So, why are these provisions so important? Because they set the tone for compliance and enforcement. For example, Part 1 ensures there's a structured approach to enforcing rules, Part 7 builds trust by allowing companies to take responsibility for their actions, and Part 11 is indispensable for modern industries, enabling digital transformation while maintaining regulatory standards. Let me give you a practical example. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, companies often rely on electronic systems to manage records, such as batch production data. Under Part 11, these systems must be validated to ensure data integrity, security, and reliability. Without compliance, any discrepancies in electronic records could lead to FDA warnings, product recalls, or worse, a halt in production. And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the general provisions. Mastering these foundational rules is essential for ensuring smooth operations, avoiding penalties, and maintaining consumer trust. That's it for episode 2. In the next episode, we'll move on to part 211, the CGMP regulations for drugs, a must-know for anyone involved in pharmaceutical manufacturing. We'll explore how these rules ensure the safety, efficacy, and quality of the medicines we rely on every day. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. Drop your questions or thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep learning. Welcome back to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. This is episode 3 of our 21 CFR Explained series. If you've been following along, we've covered the basics of 21 CFR and explored the general provisions in episodes 1 and 2. Today, we are diving into one of the most critical sections of 21 CFR for the pharmaceutical industry, Part 211, which covers Current Good Manufacturing Practices, CGMP, for finished pharmaceuticals. This is the gold standard for ensuring that the medicines we use every day are safe, effective, and high quality. CGMP, or Current Good Manufacturing Practices, are the FDA's minimum requirements for manufacturing processes. These guidelines ensure that finished pharmaceutical products meet quality standards for identity, strength, purity, and potency. Part 211 provides a framework for manufacturers to establish consistent, high-quality processes while reducing risks like contamination, mix-ups, and errors. Let's explore the key components of Part 211. Subpart B, Organization and Personnel. This section focuses on ensuring that manufacturing personnel are properly trained and qualified. It emphasizes roles, responsibilities, and hygiene requirements to minimize contamination risks. Subpart C, Buildings and Facilities. Manufacturers must design facilities that prevent cross-contamination and allow for smooth cleaning and maintenance. Subpart D, Equipment. All equipment must be routinely cleaned, maintained, and calibrated to ensure consistent performance. Subpart A, Control of components and drug product containers. This part governs the handling of raw materials and packaging components, ensuring they meet specifications. Subpart F, Production and process controls. This section ensures that all manufacturing processes are validated and performed consistently, with clear written instructions for every step. Subpart J, Records and reports. Accurate record keeping is critical. This section mandates detailed documentation for batch production, deviations, and quality control to ensure traceability. Why are these rules so important? Because even a small mistake in the production process could compromise the safety of patients. CGMP ensures every step of manufacturing is carefully controlled and documented to prevent such errors. Let's take an example. Imagine a pharmaceutical company manufacturing a batch of tablets. Under Subpart F, they need to validate the mixing process to ensure uniformity in every tablet. If one step isn't followed or documented, it could result in uneven dosages, leading to serious health risks or FDA action. And that's your overview of CGMP for pharmaceuticals in Part 211 of 21 CFR. This section is vital for anyone involved in drug manufacturing, ensuring the highest standards of quality and safety. In the next episode, we'll dive into Part 600, which focuses on regulations for biologics, a rapidly growing area in the healthcare industry. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. Drop your questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep learning. Hello and welcome back to Pharmahealth Insights. We are on episode 4 of our 21 CFR Explained series, and today, I will explore one of the most exciting and transformative areas of healthcare, biologics. In the last episode, I talked about CGMP for pharmaceuticals, Part 211, the rules that ensure the safety and quality of drug manufacturing. But biologics are a whole different ballgame. They're derived from living organisms and require unique regulations to ensure their safety, purity, and efficacy. So, let's dive into 21 CFR Part 600 and beyond to understand how these innovative products are regulated. Before I dive into the regulations, let's define biologics. Biologics include products like vaccines, blood and plasma products, monoclonal antibodies, gene and cell therapies. Because these products are derived from living cells, they're incredibly complex and sensitive. Even slight variations in their manufacturing process can impact their quality, which is why they're subject to strict regulations under 21 CFR. Now, let's break down the key parts of 21 CFR that govern biologics. Part 600 General Biologics Requirements. This is the foundation for biologics manufacturing. It includes requirements for facilities, personnel, and reporting to ensure the safe production of biologics. Part 601 Licensing of Biologics. Before a biologic can be marketed, it must undergo an extensive licensing process. Companies must demonstrate the biologic's safety, purity, and potency. Part 610 General Standards for Biologics. This section ensures consistency in quality and includes rules for sterility testing, potency, labeling, and storage. Part 630 Blood and Blood Products focuses on the safety of blood collection, testing, and storage, ensuring these life-saving products meet rigorous standards. So, why do these regulations matter? Biologics are often used in critical treatments, like cancer therapies and vaccines, where even the smallest error can have significant consequences. For example, in Part 601, the licensing process ensures that a new vaccine is tested rigorously for safety before it reaches patients. Under Part 610, every batch of a biologic must be tested for sterility to avoid contamination. Let's take a practical example: monoclonal antibodies, MABs. These biologics are designed to target specific diseases, such as rheumatoid arthritis or certain cancers. During production, under Part 600, manufacturers must validate their processes to ensure consistency in every batch. Any deviation in storage conditions, for example, could render the MABs ineffective, leading to potential FDA action or product recalls. And that's your crash course on biologics regulations under 21 CFR Parts 600, 601, and 610. Biologics are at the forefront of medical innovation, and these regulations ensure that they meet the highest standards of safety, efficacy, and quality. In my next episode, we'll move into another critical area, medical devices, with a focus on 21 CFR Part 820. This part governs how devices like pacemakers and diagnostic tools are manufactured and regulated. If you're enjoying this series, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights. Drop your questions or feedback in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep learning. Welcome back to Pharmahealth Insights. We're now on episode 5 of our 21 CFR Explained series, and today, we're diving into a crucial area of healthcare, medical devices. Medical devices range from simple bandages to life-saving pacemakers and advanced diagnostic tools. But with great innovation comes great responsibility, which is why the FDA enforces strict regulations under 21 CFR Part 820, also known as the Quality System Regulation, QSR, for medical devices. If you are in the pharmaceutical, biotech, or medical device industry, or even just curious about how medical devices are regulated, manufactured, and approved, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Before we dive into regulations, let's define medical devices. According to the FDA, a medical device is any instrument, machine, implant, or diagnostic product intended for medical use, but which does not rely on chemical action or metabolism, meaning it's different from drugs and biologics. Medical devices are categorized based on risk levels. Class 1, low-risk devices, example, bandages, tongue depressors. Class 2, moderate-risk devices, example, infusion pumps, diagnostic imaging devices. Class 3, high-risk, life-supporting or implantable devices, example, pacemakers, artificial heart valves. Now, let's break down 21 CFR Part 820, which sets the Quality System Regulations, QSR, for medical device manufacturers. This part is critical because it ensures that every device on the market meets high safety and performance standards before reaching patients. Subpart B, Quality System Requirements. Every manufacturer must have a quality management system, QMS, in place to control design, production, and post-market activities. Subpart C, Design Controls. This ensures that devices are designed with safety in mind. It requires documentation of design validation, risk assessment, and verification processes, especially crucial for Class 2 and 3 devices, like ventilators or insulin pumps. Subpart A, Purchasing Controls. Manufacturers must evaluate suppliers and contractors to ensure they provide high-quality raw materials and components. Subpart G, Production and Process Controls. Strict controls to ensure devices are manufactured consistently and meet specifications, includes calibration, contamination prevention, and validation procedures. Subpart J, Corrective and Preventive Actions, CAPA, requires manufacturers to identify, investigate, and correct quality issues before they become major problems. Subpart M, Records and Documentation, ensures complete traceability of manufacturing processes, supplier data, and quality control testing. Now you might be wondering, why are these regulations so important? Because even a minor flaw in a medical device can have life-threatening consequences. Let's look at an example. Imagine a manufacturer producing implantable defibrillators, Class 3 device. If design controls under Subpart K are not followed properly, the device might fail to deliver a life-saving shock when needed. This could lead to FDA recalls, lawsuits, and most importantly, patient harm. Here's a real-world case of what happens when 21 CFR Part 820 is not followed. In 2021, the FDA issued multiple recalls for defective insulin pumps that were delivering incorrect doses to diabetic patients. Investigation revealed that production controls, Subpart G, were not followed, causing inconsistent device performance. As a result, patients experienced dangerous blood sugar fluctuations, leading to hospitalizations. The manufacturer had to pay millions in fines and implement corrective and preventive actions, CAPA, to prevent future issues. So, how do medical device companies ensure they follow 21 CFR Part 820, implementing a robust quality management system, QMS, conducting regular internal audits to identify compliance gaps, validating equipment and manufacturing processes, documenting everything, from design to post-market surveillance, training employees on FDA regulations? These steps help companies avoid recalls, legal trouble, and most importantly, protect patients. And that's a wrap on episode 5 of our 21 CFR Explained series. Today, we uncovered how 21 CFR Part 820 ensures the safety and quality of medical devices, but we're not stopping here. In episode 6, we'll explore 21 CFR Part 11, the FDA's rules for electronic records and signatures in pharmaceutical and medical industries. This is crucial for companies transitioning to digital documentation and automation. So, if you're interested in data integrity, compliance, and the future of digital health, you won't want to miss it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights for more expert breakdowns of FDA regulations. Have questions? Drop them in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep learning. Can a single missing electronic signature cause $1 million FDA penalty? What if I told you that improper handling of digital records can shut down a pharmaceutical company? Welcome back to Pharmahealth Insights with Rajesh. In this critical episode, we are diving deep into 21 CFR Part 11, one of the most important FDA regulations governing electronic records and signatures in the pharmaceutical, biotech, and medical device industries. If your company stores clinical trial data, batch records, or compliance documents electronically, this regulation directly impacts you. Stay with me as we break it down with real-world cases, compliance strategies, and expert insights. Let's begin. In today's digital world, paper-based records are nearly obsolete. But can companies store critical pharmaceutical and medical device data 100% electronically without compromising safety and integrity? The answer is yes, but only if they comply with 21 CFR Part 11. Established by the FDA in 1997, 21 CFR Part 11 defines the rules for using electronic records and electronic signatures in regulated industries like pharmaceuticals, biotech, and medical devices. It ensures that digital records are just as reliable, secure, and authentic as traditional paper-based records. Imagine a clinical trial that collects thousands of patient data points electronically. If those records are not secured, time-stamped, or signed correctly, the FDA cannot trust their validity. This could lead to data rejection, failed drug approvals, or even legal consequences. A major pharmaceutical manufacturer was recently fined $2 million by the FDA because their electronic signatures were not verified properly. They had no audit trail for changes made in digital records. Unauthorized employees could edit drug batch records without approval. The FDA flagged their system as not trustworthy and unreliable, leading to a warning letter, fines, and product recalls. So, if your digital records aren't secure, your entire business is at risk. So, what exactly does 21 CFR Part 11 require? Let's break it down into three major pillars: electronic records, electronic signatures, system validation, and access controls. Let's talk about electronic records, which ensure data integrity. To comply with 21 CFR Part 11, all electronic records must be accurate, free from manipulation or unauthorized changes, secure, protected against data loss, tampering, or hacking, tamper-proof. Every change must be logged and time-stamped. Let's take an example of a biotech company developing gene therapy. The company must store thousands of experimental results digitally. Without proper version control, someone could accidentally delete or modify critical data, rendering years of research useless. FDA requires every system to have an audit trail, a log of who accessed, modified, or deleted records, along with timestamps and justification. Let's now talk about the electronic signatures, which are a key to ensure trust and verification. An electronic signature is not just typing your name in a document, it's legally equivalent to a handwritten signature, but only if it meets FDA standards. Each electronic signature must be unique to the individual, secure and verifiable, password protected or biometric, linked to the specific record it approves. Imagine a quality assurance (QA) manager reviewing batch production records. If their electronic signature is just a typed name with no password protection, anyone could forge approvals, leading to unauthorized drug releases and FDA violations. So what's the solution? The FDA requires multi-factor authentication (MFA) to ensure that only authorized personnel can sign records. Now let's look into system validation and access controls. What is system validation? Any software system handling electronic records must be validated to ensure it works correctly. Companies must perform risk assessments, testing, and audits before using software in a regulated environment. Key FDA compliance measures include restricted access to sensitive records which only authorized personnel can edit, implementation of data backup and disaster recovery plans, ensuring that password policies and encryption are in place. In 2018, a leading medical device company was forced to recall a product because its electronic documentation system failed validation testing. The system randomly deleted records, making it impossible to prove product safety. Hence, it is very important to perform system validation and have appropriate access controls. Now that we understand the risks, let's explore how companies can ensure full compliance with 21 CFR Part 11. Use FDA-compliant software, invest in validated electronic record-keeping systems, implement strict access controls, use role-based authentication to restrict unauthorized access, ensure digital signatures are secure, use multi-factor authentication (MFA), conduct internal audits regularly, identify and fix compliance gaps before the FDA does, train employees on 21 CFR Part 11, ensure all staff understand electronic record regulations. Pro tip: always prepare for FDA inspections. Keep your audit logs, validation reports, and security policies up to date. That wraps up episode 6 of our 21 CFR Explained series. Today, we explored how 21 CFR Part 11 protects electronic records and signatures in pharma and biotech. Coming up next, in episode 7, we'll dive into 21 CFR Part 210 and 211, the core FDA GMP regulations for pharmaceuticals. We'll cover good manufacturing practices, GMP, for pharma companies, why batch record integrity is crucial for FDA compliance, common FDA warning letters and how to avoid them. Have questions? Drop them in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Pharmahealth Insights for more expert pharma insights. See you in the next episode.